Hi, I'm Matilda. 3 months ago, I had everything figured out. A marketing job I loved, a cozy apartment I shared with my sister Eliza, and family dinners every Sunday at my parents' place in the suburbs. That was before the accident that changed everything. Tilly, can you grab the grocery bags from the car? Mom's asking about the appetizers. Eliza called from the kitchen. Sunday dinner as usual. On it, I replied, heading outside into the rain. That's when I slipped on the wet driveway, my head hitting the concrete with a sickening thud. I woke up in the hospital 2 days later with a severe concussion. My brother James was slouched in the chair beside my bed, scrolling through his phone. Hey, she's awake, he announced flatly, not looking up. What happened? My voice sounded strange even to my own ears. You fell. Hit your head pretty bad. He finally looked at me, his expression unreadable. Doctor says you might have some memory issues for a while. Where's everyone else? James shrugged. Dad's dealing with the insurance? Mom couldn't handle hospitals, you know how she gets. Eliza had that big presentation today. Something felt off about his casual tone, but my head hurt too much to press further. Have they been by at all? I asked, trying to sit up against the pillows. Mom came once, James replied, avoiding my eyes. She seemed distracted. And Eliza? Just busy with work, I guess. He fidgeted with his phone. Listen, there's something weird going on. I overheard Mom and Dad arguing about you last night. Before I could ask more, a nurse entered to check my vitals, and James made a quick exit, promising to return later. 3 days later, I was discharged and returned home to find my bedroom door locked, my things packed in boxes in the hallway. What's going on? I asked Eliza, who was typing furiously on her laptop at the kitchen counter. She barely glanced up. We need to talk, Matilda. The doctor called. They found alcohol in your system from the night of your fall. That's impossible. I had 1 glass of wine with dinner, same as everyone. The levels suggest otherwise, she said coldly. And it explains a lot about your behavior lately. My behavior? What are you talking about? She finally looked at me, her eyes narrowed. The mood swings, the money missing from the joint account, the calls from your office that you've been showing up late. None of that is true. My voice rose in confusion. I haven't... Save it, Matilda. Mom and Dad know too. They're disappointed. We all are. This is insane. Where is this coming from? I felt like I'd woken up in someone else's life. We've decided it's best if you find your own place for a while. Get help. Sort yourself out. You're kicking me out? Because of lies? Eliza's face hardened. They're not lies. We have evidence. What evidence? Show me. I don't have to show you anything. You need to leave. Today. At least let me talk to Mom and Dad, I pleaded, fighting back tears. They don't want to see you right now, Eliza replied, returning to her laptop. Dad said, and I quote, tell her to get her life together first. My phone buzzed with a text from my oldest friend, Naomi. Heard what happened. Need a place to crash? 3 hours later, I sat in Naomi's apartment, still shell-shocked. So they just threw you out? Based on what exactly? Naomi asked, handing me a cup of tea. Apparently, I'm a drunk with sticky fingers who can't hold down a job, I said bitterly. None of which is true. This doesn't make any sense. Your family has always been picture perfect. Not anymore. I scrolled through my phone, showing her the texts from my parents. We think it's best if you don't come to dinner until you get help. We love you, but we can't enable this behavior. And you seriously don't remember any of this? Naomi asked carefully. Because it never happened, I exclaimed. I had a perfect attendance record at work. I've never stolen anything in my life. And I barely drink. Naomi's expression shifted. Wait, did you say Eliza mentioned a joint account? Yeah, we shared expenses for the apartment. And who managed it? Eliza. She's the one with the accounting degree. Naomi's eyebrows rose. I think we need to do some digging. Into what? Into why your picture-perfect sister might suddenly want you out of the picture. Your sister has been hiding something. Naomi said the next morning, laptop open on her kitchen table. I checked your social media, and there's posts you supposedly made that you don't remember, right? I scrolled through my Instagram, shocked at photos of me at clubs I'd never visited. These aren't mine. I mean, that's me, but I never posted these. And look at the dates, Naomi pointed. All posted when you were at work, according to your calendar. Someone's been using my accounts? But who would? Your beloved sister, Naomi said flatly. The question is why? My phone rang. It was Colin, my coworker from marketing. Matilda, are you okay? Everyone's saying you quit. I what? Colin, I never quit. I'm on medical leave from the accident. A long pause. That's not what HR told us. They said you sent a resignation letter 2 days ago. My hands trembled. I've been in the hospital. I didn't send anything. This is getting weird. Colin lowered his voice. First the complaints about your work, now this. What complaints? The last few weeks, clients were saying you missed deadlines, sent incomplete work. It didn't sound like you at all. I gripped the phone tighter. It wasn't me. Colin, could you check something? Look at the timestamps on those client complaints. Hold on, Colin said. I heard keyboard clicks in the background. That's weird. The Johnston report complaint came in at 2:30 on Tuesday, but you were presenting to the executive team then. I remember because I covered your other meeting. Exactly. Someone's setting me up. But why would anyone do that? Colin asked, confusion evident in his voice. I'm starting to have a theory, I replied, looking at Naomi, who was already typing furiously. While Colin investigated, I called my bank. After confirming my identity, the representative's voice turned sympathetic. Miss Harper, I see several large withdrawals from your personal account over the past month, totaling $12,000. That's impossible. The withdrawals were authorized with your password and security questions. I hung up, feeling sick. Naomi watched me with concern. The joint account with Eliza? Drained, and my personal savings too. Colin called back 20 minutes later. Matilda, those complaint emails? They came in while you were in meetings. I checked the conference room logs. You couldn't have sent them. Someone's setting me up, I whispered. But why would your family believe this without evidence? Naomi asked. My brother James called next, his voice unexpectedly gentle. Hey, Tilly, how are you holding up? James, what's happening? Why is everyone suddenly thinking I'm some kind of disaster? He hesitated. The videos, Matilda. What videos? Eliza showed us videos. You, drunk, admitting to taking money. Saying how you hated your job. My blood ran cold. Those are fake. James, I swear. They looked real, he said uncertainly. But something felt off. And now Dad's talking about changing the will, removing you from the family business succession plan. The business? Is that what this is about? James went quiet. Eliza's been pushing for more control since you got promoted to marketing director. Said it wasn't fair you'd get equal shares when she's the one with the financial background. I need proof, James. I need to see those videos. I'll try, he promised. But be careful. Whatever's happening, it's calculated. After hanging up, I turned to Naomi. We need to talk to someone who understands digital forensics. I know just the person, Naomi said, already dialing. These are definitely manipulated, said VJ, Naomi's friend who worked in cybersecurity. We sat in his home office, surrounded by computers. Good ones too, but there are artifacts if you know where to look. He pointed to subtle inconsistencies in the video lighting. See how the shadows don't match? And the audio has been spliced. The background noise changes between sentences. Can you prove it's fake? I asked desperately. I can do better. VJ typed rapidly. Whoever did this accessed your accounts from specific IP addresses, not yours, but consistent across all the logins. Can you trace it? Already did. He looked up grimly. It's your apartment, Matilda. But more specifically, it's only when your sister's home. I need to confront her, I said, standing up. Not alone, Naomi insisted. And not without more evidence. What kind of evidence could be stronger than this? The why, James said from the doorway. He'd arrived 20 minutes earlier with the flash drive containing the doctored videos. I found something else. He handed me a folder. Loan applications. Eliza's been gambling online for months. She's in deep, like hundreds of thousands deep. I flipped through the paperwork, stunned. She used my identity for these loans? Some of them. Others she guaranteed with her stake in the family business, which would be fine. Except her stake would double if I was out of the picture. I finished, the pieces finally clicking together. There's more, James continued. I talked to Mom and Dad, showed them some inconsistencies I found. They're starting to question things. I need to talk to Eliza, I said firmly. Now. Are you sure that's wise? Vijay asked. Someone who's gone to these lengths? She's my sister, I replied, my voice catching. I need to hear her say it. Not without backup, Naomi insisted. And somewhere public. 2 hours later, we gathered at my parents' house. Me, James, Naomi, Vijay with his laptop, and my parents looking confused and wary. Eliza arrived last, her confident smile faltering when she saw everyone. What's this? An intervention? She laughed nervously. I thought we agreed Matilda was the one who needed help. Sit down, Eliza, Dad said gravely. We know everything, I said quietly. The fake videos, the stolen money, the gambling debts. She laughed, but it sounded hollow. What are you talking about? She's obviously making this up. We have proof, Vijay interrupted, turning his laptop to show the technical analysis of the doctored videos. And these, James added, spreading out the loan documents. Eliza's face drained of color. Those are private. They're fraudulent, Mom said, her voice shaking. Some of them are in Matilda's name. You needed me gone, I said, meeting my sister's eyes. So you created a fiction. The unstable, alcoholic sister who couldn't be trusted with family money. You manufactured evidence, turned everyone against me, and then took what you needed. You don't understand, Eliza whispered, tears forming. I was going to pay it back. I just needed time. You left me with nothing! My voice rose. My job, my home, my savings, my reputation. You destroyed everything. I'm sorry, she sobbed. Please, we can fix this. Fix it? I laughed bitterly. You committed fraud, identity theft, and defamation. Those aren't things you just fix, Eliza. Matilda, please. She reached for my hand. We're sisters. You have to forgive me. I pulled away. Actually, I don't. What happens now? Dad asked heavily. Now, I said. We call the police. The DA is offering a plea deal, my lawyer explained 6 weeks later. We sat in a coffee shop across from the courthouse. Given the evidence and Eliza's confession, they're confident in the case, but this would avoid a trial. What kind of deal? I asked, stirring my latte absently. Restitution of all stolen funds plus damages, probation, community service, and a felony record. I nodded slowly. The last month and a half had been a whirlwind. Police reports, evidence collection, emotional family meetings, and the slow, painful process of reclaiming my life. Will she take it? Her lawyer is strongly advising it. The alternative is potentially years in prison. James joined us, sliding into the booth with a tired smile. How are you holding up, Tilly? Getting there, I replied. The new apartment is coming together. My old boss called yesterday. They want me back. That's great news, he said, though his eyes remained sad. Mom's asking if you'll come for dinner this Sunday. I hesitated. I'm not ready for that yet, James. I understand. He reached across the table, squeezing my hand. For what it's worth, they're devastated about believing Eliza over you. As they should be, Naomi interjected, arriving with Vijay. They'd become something of a couple since this all began. Family is supposed to trust you, not throw you out based on flimsy evidence. They saw what they expected to see, I said quietly. Eliza was always the responsible one, the trustworthy one. I was the creative, the dreamer. When faced with evidence, they followed the path of least resistance. Still doesn't make it right, Naomi insisted. No, it doesn't, I agreed. But I understand it now. Later that afternoon, I stood in the courtroom as Eliza accepted her plea deal. She looked smaller somehow. Her designer clothes exchanged for something simple and unbranded, her usual confidence entirely gone. "Can I speak to my sister?" she asked tearfully as the proceedings concluded. After a moment's hesitation, I nodded. "I'm so sorry, Matilda," she whispered when we stood face to face. "I never meant for it to go this far. The gambling. It started small, but then I needed more and more. I was drowning." "You could have asked for help," I said, my voice steady. "Instead, you tried to destroy me." "I know." Tears streamed down her face. "Can you ever forgive me?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not the sister I'd grown up with, but a stranger shaped by desperation and poor choices. "No, Eliza, I can't forgive this. Maybe someday I'll understand it better, but trust, once broken like this, doesn't come back." Her face crumpled, but I continued. "I don't hate you. I just don't know you anymore. And I need to focus on rebuilding what you took from me." That evening, I hosted dinner in my new apartment. James, Naomi, VJ, and Colin from work. As we laughed and shared stories, I felt something shifting inside me. Not forgiveness, but perhaps the first fragile steps toward healing. "To the truth," James proposed a toast. "May it always come to light." "And to new beginnings," I added, raising my glass. "Sometimes they come when you least expect them." 3 months later, I sat across from my parents at a neutral location, a quiet cafe downtown. It was our first meeting since everything had happened. "You look good, Tilly," Mom said tentatively. "The new job must be treating you well." "It is," I replied. "I'm heading up the rebranding project." Dad cleared his throat awkwardly. "We've been seeing a family therapist, trying to understand how we failed you so completely." "We believed Eliza without question," Mom added, eyes welling with tears. "We never even gave you a chance to explain." "That's what hurts the most," I admitted. "Not just Eliza's betrayal, but that my own parents wouldn't even listen to me." "We don't expect forgiveness," Dad said. "We just want a chance to rebuild. Something. Whatever you're comfortable with." I took a sip of my coffee, considering their words. "I'm not ready for Sunday dinners again, but maybe we can start with coffee, once a month, and see where it goes." The relief on their faces was palpable. We talked for another hour. Careful, measured conversation. Nothing too deep. Baby steps. Life rebuilds in unexpected ways after betrayal. The journey isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your own narrative. My story isn't over. In many ways, it's just beginning. What would you do if someone rewrote your life story without permission? How would you take it back?